Hey YouTube, how's it going? We're here. We're back with My Hero Academia, chapter 390. Really quick, if you could like the video for me, please, I greatly appreciate it. Now, coming off of last chapter, right? Was last chapter last week? No, it was 2 weeks ago. It's fairly short, but it's dealing with the fact that things are getting crazy. Things are past crazy. People might blow up. Shoto is flying in with Ida and on an ice jet, and Dabi's just about to explode. So I'm wondering if Shoto's gonna get there in time. Now my brain won't let me comprehend all of this family dying, or it won't let me comprehend Shoto being too late. So it's like, I feel like they all might get saved, but I don't know how this looks. So let's just hop into 390 and let's see. All right, let's full screen this. Let's get the zooming in. Let's go. 390. Ida's jets are toasted. This is far as I can escort you. 319 chapter 390, Shoto Todoroki Rising. So we've had Akatsuki Bakugo origin. Have we had our Izuku Midoriya origin chapter yet? That I'm not sure of. We've had our Akatsuki Bakugo Rising chapter. I'm pretty sure we had that. And now we get our Shoto Todoroki origin and rising chapter. Huh. Go figure, right? Usually when we get lately my screen's been doing something weird on my phone where it feels like there's dead spots. But we've gotten a Shoto one, we've gotten a Bakugo one. I'm pretty sure we've gotten Deku ones too. Thank you, Ida. And he goes Flash, Fire, Fist, Phosphor. He activates the Phosphor. Ice Jet is falling apart. Next page. Are these sonic booms? No way. They're not sonic booms. They could be, I don't know, but they're moving quick, man. They're almost there, too. All right. Where do I start reading? Where do I start reading? Oh, man. See, this is where I be confused sometimes. I'm going to start from the bottom. I can't believe it. Those are sonic booms. I was like, those aren't sonic booms. They are sonic booms. I can't believe it. Transonic speed. As fast as a fighter jet. He's using regenerating ice constructs to reduce drag. And creating a layer of heated air to reduce friction. Oh, I love the science behind that. That makes sense. Oh, Shoto's butt. Yeah. Now, if anyone can do a darn thing about the impending crisis at Gunga, it's gotta be the dynamic duo of Engined and half cold, half hot. You're our only hope. You've got this. Hold on. My screen froze up. My screen froze up. You make one hell of a teacher, All Might. Look at these two fumbling and bumbling about. Todoroki, thanks to you, I'm becoming who I want to be. So get over there and make it happen for you too. I wonder how many times Shoto rolled. That's weird. I'm sorry. Dear Mom, I want to tell you something. In hopes of keeping up with my classmates, I'm making an effort to speak up and chat with them daily. All that talking has led to some conflict, but sometimes butting heads with others has led to a better understanding of how they think and feel. My friends care about more than just themselves, and they get mad and shed tears for the sake of others. That's how I want to be too. It's not easy, but I'm trying. Wow. I'm wondering, is this the first letter he sent to his mom? Or one of the first letters that he sent to her? So he's rushing in, right? He's pushing his way past. You have the whole family here, like, looking at him as he's running through. Hold on. I'm not looking over there. Oh, Shoto screaming. It's like everything is flipped around upside down. Wow. My origin as Toya and Dabi. If it was so simple a thing, if only we butted heads like this sooner. Oh, little Shoto, like he's flying in there. There are still arguments I want to have and things I still want to say. Oh, he's blowing. Is he blowing? Great Glacial Azure. Did he stop him? Or he didn't blow, I don't think. He might have stopped it. Did he blow? I don't know. We seen it. That's Dabi's mouth. I don't know. I'm nervous. Next page. I'm nervous. All right. Everyone's looking. The little ones are laughing. Or smiling, I should say. He stopped it. Shoto stopped it. Our whole family is here? Well, not great, but maybe it's for the best. He stopped him. Because my great Glacial Aegis alone might not been enough to stop this. Ever since round 1 back there, Toya's fire just kept growing. Shoto. He reached uncharted territory where I can't tread. Maybe I was never actually the masterpiece creation. Dabi. The fact that he's still alive is nuts to me. You all die already. Dad, you scum, just die. You all and me too drop dead. He's freezing from the inside. Toya, my big brother. Well, what now? Toya, I'm sorry, okay? Whew. I'm sorry I never made it to Sokoto Peak. He's apologizing. He's apologizing. He's apologizing. All right. Hate you all. Hate you, Dad, the whole family too. How's he talking? Never mind. Go on. Really. Let me have it. Keep it coming. Ray, I'm sorry for pushing you to the breaking point. Fuyumi, I'm sorry for leaving you to pick up the pieces. Natsuo, I'm sorry for neglecting you like I did. And Shoto, I'm sorry. Let's smile, Himiko Toga. Smiling is why we live our lives. All right. So my guess is this is the end of this battle. That's my guess. Yeah, we're wrapping up Battlefields, all right. That totally feels like the end of a battle. But I wonder where is this going to take us? Some people are not going to be happy with this. I know that. I think I'm okay with it. This feels about right. I can say that. Right? I'm sitting here. I've read it. I'm digesting it. This feels about right. My brain, like, I couldn't get to the point of the whole family dying. I couldn't, like, my brain wouldn't let me get there. It just wouldn't. It just wouldn't let me get there. But this is about right. It's about right. It's about right. I can take it. I can. I can't keep doing this because I feel like I'm robbing myself of experience in this series. Because I want it to be so good that I'm like bracing instead of just reading and enjoying it or not enjoying it. I feel like I'm just bracing and not just accepting what happened. I can dig it. I can dig it. What I will say, and Tink definitely mentioned this. I feel like this should have been one big chapter. I think if you were to read this through without the anticipation each week, it might have been better. I will say that I can 100% stand on. That I can 100% stand on. It might be a better read if you read it all together. I will say that. I will say that. Now, my brain, right? We if you guys don't know, My Hero, I think, is confirmed ending this year. It will not make it past this year. We got maybe 20 chapters, maybe, which is like 5 or 6 months. We got maybe 20 chapters left. And my brain, when I see this, makes me feel like there could be a part 2. Because I think if there was no part 2, this ends differently. But I think if there is going to be a part 2, you can end storylines and still keep them open in a way. Right? The character's still there. There's still somewhere to go for it. But they did say the little blurb that they released is that over the course of the next volume, over the course of the next volume that they're going to start to finish off a lot of the battlefields leading up to the climax of the final battle, pretty much. So if we had to actually think about that, for this war effort, there was how many battlefields? We had UA was one battlefield. We had the island was another battlefield. We had Gunga, where what I was All for One and Endeavor at Gunga, but then you had Toya and Shoto at Kamino. You had the hospital, and then from the hospital you had what's the other place where Gigantomachia. We had about 7 or 8 battlefields that had important pieces on all of those battlefields. 7 or 8. And as we sit here at chapter 390, how many battlefields are actually left? I think it's clear that UA, where Gentle is still holding up UA, or if it crashed, I don't remember. Where Deku and Shigaraki are, I think is going to be the place for the final battle. I do think that's where the final battle is going to occur. But if we think about all the battlefields that existed, we are no longer in Kamino because Dabi took off. So the Dabi battlefield, combined with the Endeavor battlefield, combined with the hospital battlefield, combined with the Gigantomachia battlefield, are all gone because they've all been consolidated. And they all were where All for One was, out in between battlefields as he's trying to get to Shigaraki. The island battlefield where Toga was has now transformed to where? I can't remember where. I forgot where Toga herself went. But really, if we had to think of all the battlefields consolidated, the main set pieces that are left right now is All Might and All for One, wherever they are. You have Shigaraki and Deku, and the other big set piece was Endeavor and Toya. And the Endeavor and Toya set piece, I think, is over now. I think this set piece is done. I think we can. There's no way. It would be crazy if Dabi got up for a third time, and was like round 3. I think it would be crazy. So I think that set piece is pretty much done. So right now I think how this chapter is ending, we are about to wrap up this Ochiko and Toga storyline. And once we wrap that up, literally the only battlefield that would be left that would have heavy hitters on it that are still drag out fighting each other is the Deku and Shigaraki battlefield. Not counting a lot of the missing people that we haven't seen yet, like Amirio or all these other people. I know Mirio's on our battlefield, technically. Technically, he's on our battlefield, but he still could pop up and do something. You never know. But we still that's pretty much the big battlefield, and All for One is making our way there. Is making his way there with All Might in the middle. All Might's playing buffer right now. So it's this is wrapping up. We were talking about it in the Discord, and I was like, I said because Tink I think was saying that 20-ish chapters might not be enough for the end of the series, and I'm like, I think so. I was overcompensating. I started thinking about it days later. I'm like, we've already spent so much time on Shoto and on Toya that I don't think we need. I said 3 chapters. I was like, we could do this in 1, and sure enough, we did it in 1 because we did everything up to that point. If they would have blew up, if Shoto wouldn't have got here and froze everything, and they would have blew up, then he just would have blew up, and that would have been the end of the story. But he froze everything. He froze it. So that's the end of that. So say if we have a 20 chapter countdown and we take a chapter away, we have 19 left. I feel like we could do this Ochiko and Toga stuff in 2 chapters, 3 chapters. That leaves us at what? 17? 17? And then what else? What are other things that we have to touch up on that we can't do as we wrap up to the final battle. I feel like you can get it done. I do. I'm wondering how the hell they are going to get it done. But I feel like it's possible. I definitely feel like it's possible. But I think you end this way because there could be a part 2. If Hori isn't already working on a part 2 or has ideas for a part 2, right? If he has ideas for a part 2, I'd be interested. I know it's the thing with part 2s is, how do you get a storyline to follow up, especially something like this, right? Where All For One has always been painted as the great big bad. He's been like evil since Quirks existed. How do you get a villain that can compare to All For One, right? In a part 2, if All For One was defeated at the end of part 1. I think that's the tough thing about it. I think we discussed it without cheapening a win and a finale for My Hero. I think you float with the idea of All For One becoming a vestige of Deku, and Deku having to fight an internal battle with One For All and All For One, for both, and how to not get corrupted by that, and then just have him go about his superhero stuff, and then another supervillain shows up and you have to deal with that. I think that'd be a cool thing for part 2, because you have a Deku who wants to be an upstanding hero but has self-destructive qualities that will lead him down a bad path, provoked by All For One. So if he now has All For One literally in his head and not figuratively in his head, like we've already seen, like we've seen All For One's voice echo throughout Deku's brain and drive him to do crazy things during the Dark Deku arc. So to actually have him in his head and to battle with that would be something interesting you could do. And you could kind of steer the series maybe a little bit more darker and have Deku fighting with being a hero. You could kind of take it like, you could have it be like a symbiote thing from like Spider-Man, where it's like Peter gains so much more power, he's cooler, all of these things, but his moral compass starts to get corrupted and corroded. And it isn't until he's able to get rid of the symbiote in which that he can truly like return back to who he is. But in turn of getting rid of the symbiote, he's created another villain that is extremely powerful to fight. So I don't know how you would do that. Do you just bring All For One back in a part 2 if that were the case? Do you have it be like something? I think it'd be cool. It'd be something to float. I'd be okay with that. I'd be okay with the part 2 being 16. I'd be okay with the part 2 being them out of school, right? Them out of school. So this is like maybe a Deku 18, 19 maybe. I'll say 18 or 19. So that'll be a 2-year time skip for us, because right now Deku is 16. He's either 16 or 17. I can't remember. He's either 16 or 17. So skip us 2 years. Come back with part 2. Introduce us with like the evil inside, and then you could do that. That would work. I would like that very much so. But I think that's all I got. That is all I got for this chapter. I'm still gonna digest this more. I'm liking it. I'm okay with it. I am okay. I'm okay because Dabi, this doesn't redeem Dabi. Like, he's not redeemed whatsoever. But how does one live after this? I'm looking at all of them. Like, Endeavor should be burnt. Dabi should be dead, but we know that his ice quirk will not let him do so. Like, they all should be messed up really bad. So maybe there is more to the Dobby stuff. Maybe this isn't the end. Therapy is one thing too, but maybe this isn't it. Maybe something else might happen. But I think this might be the wrap up for this. Dobby just stays in jail, and they keep trying to chip away at him, figuratively and literally. But I'm gonna call it there. Thank you guys. I appreciate you. Have a good rest of your Sunday. Have a good rest of your week coming up. And do we get a chapter next week? Do we get a chapter next week? It doesn't say. Let me refresh. It doesn't say. Usually it says, see you like another chapter in 7 days. It doesn't even say that. Let me go to the homepage again. Hold on. Let me do this again. No, it doesn't say anything. So I don't know when I'll see you next. But have a good one. I'll see you when I see you. Peace out.